الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى سائر الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى الملائكة المقربين وعلى عباده الصالحين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حتى إذا جاء أمرنا وفارت النور نحمل فيها من كل زوجين اثنين وأهلك إلا من سبق عليه القول ومن آمن وما آمن معه إلا قليل وقال اركبوا فيها بسم الله مجريها ومرساها إن ربي لغفور رحيم بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن المجيد ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. My dear brothers, elders and sisters in Islam, as human beings, as sentient thinking beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a certain responsibility. And that responsibility, my dear brothers, elders and sisters, is that we use the faculties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted us to believe in Him, to improve our iman, to increase our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to the best of our abilities, try to purge any doubts from our heart. Using not only the faculties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us as human beings, but also things that He has given us on top of that. So now, when addressing this topic from an academic standpoint, as well as a spiritual one, it is important that we understand, how do humans learn? How is it that insan, how is it that Bani Adam receives information? So the ulama ikram, the way humans receive information, we can categorize them into 4 ways. We can categorize this into 4 ways. Now, one is the most primitive, the most basic method of receiving information or acquiring information. And this would be al-umur al-hissiyya. These are your senses. Your eyesight, your hearing, your smelling, your taste, your touch. With these 5 senses, this is one of the bare minimums for example, mammals to exist on this earth and to be able to survive. So now, there's one trump card that humans have that distinguishes us from amongst the rest of the animals. Yes, from a biological standpoint, we are Homo sapiens. We are just another primate. But why is mankind, what is it that mankind has because of which we have been given superiority? Anyone? Everyone's always quiet. Aql, intellect. We have been given the power of intellect, reason. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the Quran, in multiple places, He not only challenges our 5 senses. أَفَلَا يَسْمَعُونَ, do they not hear? أَفَلَا يُبْصِرُونَ, do they not see? أَفَلَا يَفْهَمُونَ, do they not understand? Can they not process basic information? But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also challenges mankind specifically, saying, أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, do you not have aql, do you not have intellect? That any person who can think rationally should be able to come up with these conclusions. So, oh Bani Adam, why are you not coming up with these conclusions? What deficiency do you have? I created you perfectly. I created you with everything. Why are you defective? What are you doing to yourself because of which you are defective? Because it is something you are bringing upon yourself. So first we have al-umur al-hissiyya, your 5 senses. Second, we have our aql. Now third, after our 5 senses, and after this mental processing power that humans are capable of, now there has to be a way in which new information can be introduced, where new information can be introduced into society, into the environment. So the ulama, they call this ilham. In English, a good way you can translate it is inspiration or divine inspiration. And it's not just linked to Islam and Muslim and non-Muslim, no. Depending on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants society to do, or what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants mankind to accomplish, He can give this inspiration to anyone. For example, historical reference. We all know the famous story of how penicillin came about. It's one of the most famous. Most of us probably know. That it was one scientist, he was playing with mold, and for some reason he decided to put moldy bread under a microscope. This is what they teach us from elementary school, saying, hey, this is where the medical revolution began. So, why did a scientist, out of nowhere, out of curiosity, decide to put a piece of moldy bread under a microscope? Now, if you want to look at it from the eyes of just pure reason, then you can say, oh, curiosity. But now, the reason I'm giving this talk today is I want to encourage us to open our mind, to think and observe things with a new light. For example, there's a famous saying, اتقوا فراسة المؤمن فإنه ينظر بنور الله. It said that fear the insight of a mu'min, of a believer, because verily he sees with not just the nur of this world, by the light of this world, simple light reflecting off something, hitting your eye and so forth and so on. No, he sees things bi nurillah, with the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yani, one of the interpretations of this is that he sees things with the eyes of spirituality, out of the eyes of seeing a system where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one running and controlling everything. That this person, when he studies the solar system and he sees these planets in perfect orbit around the sun and so forth and so on. Yes, he understands from a mathematical, from a scientific standpoint that there's the law of gravity and there's inertia and there's momentum and all of these things put into perfect symphony allows for this planet to orbit this body, the celestial body, without going in towards it. Yes, from a mathematical, from an academic, from a logical standpoint, he can understand that. But now this person, he sees this system and understands that there is a deity, there's a one who has fine control over this system. And he is the one that has put the laws into place. So likewise, a person viewing history with the eyes of spirituality, he'll say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted mankind to progress. He wanted mankind to progress in medicine, so he put this thought in that guy's heart, saying, hey, check that out. And likewise, every great discovery that has brought mankind its way throughout technology, a mu'min, a believer will say, it is not insan, it is not mankind out of his own ability that did that. But rather, it was the inspiration of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed mankind to jump to another level. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala challenges mankind in Jannat. يا معشر الجن والإنس إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا. That O معشر الجن والإنس, O jinnat and mankind, if in istata'tum, if you have the ta'ah, if you have the capability, that you can transcend the heavens and the earth, فانفذوا, then go. Try. لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان. You will not be able to accept without sultan, without power, without authority. And who is the one that has absolute power and authority? فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which of the favors, O mankind and jinnat, of your Lord do you deny? As believers, we do not view history and science out of just, man, this guy was a genius. No. His intellect was given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His intelligence was given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His capability, his materials, his process, the world around him, the system in his hands, everything was given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who was the one that inspired him to take that step? We say it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you start viewing the world like this, then you'll see the fallacies in our own understanding. We'll see the same things that cause us to have doubt are in actuality means of us increasing our iman, increasing our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But shaitan tries to trick us. Shaitan puts the barrier in front of our eyes. And last, fourth, and finally, There's only so much we can know. So how do we learn outside of whatever is within our capability? For example, heaven. For example, hell. For example, the day of judgment. For example, angels. What? So the fourth and final way insan, mankind, receives information is wahi, divine revelation. So a few days ago, one of my Sunday school students, he asked me, saying, how can we believe there's a heaven, or a hell for that matter? How can I logically wrap my mind around the fact that such an entity exists? So I said, okay, let's back up. Let's back up. Let's say there's a baby in the womb of the mother. Now tell me, a baby in the womb of the mother, can it see anything? No. It can only what? It can hear to an extent. It can hear to an extent, but can it see? No. So now this baby that's floating around the womb of the mother, it is pitch black dark. And its only source of sustenance is this tube attached to its belly. How is this baby going to get information that outside of the womb of the mother, which is its world in entirety right now, it gets sustenance from this world. It lives in this world. It feels this world. How can you explain to this baby that outside of this water and outside of this thin layer of skin, that there is a world where there are colors, where there is light, where there are humans, where there are animals and trees and birds and mountains and oceans and skies and planets and stars? They'll say, stop. That makes no sense. How is that even possible? This is my world. I get sustenance from this tube and this is all I see. Now, how do you get information to that baby? You won't be able to unless some mysterious way. Someone who has the information is able to go and give it to that baby. Somehow the information is transferred. My dear brothers, elders, and sisters, we are no different than that baby. Except, instead of the womb of the mother, we just see a little bit more. We feel a little bit more. We see blue skies, we see rivers, we see trees, we see sky, we see all these things. We see our sustenance growing from the ground. We feed ourselves through our labor. This is the system. This is it. This is what we can see. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is He doing? He sends a messenger. He makes a median, which is Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, from that world to this world, as a messenger bringing you the information from that world. Now, O young one residing in this world, are you going to believe? Now, if someone has the ability to go into the womb of a baby and tell the baby something in a way it will be able to understand, you'll say this person has to be telling the truth. Otherwise, who has that kind of capability? So likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose the most honorable of mankind to receive this message from the most honorable of angels, from the most honorable deity Himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one and only. Now it's up to us. Do we want to accept it? Yes or no? Yes or no? In the end, you will not see Jannah till you die. You will not feel Jannah till you die. You will not understand Jannah till you die. But now it's up to you. It's up to us. A messenger has come with the credibility, with the line of communication, verifiable information in our terms. True information. Now it's up to us. Do we want to accept it, yes or no? Or do we want to play the ignorant, we just want to play ignorance is bliss? That is up to us, whether we want to accept or not. That where do we, as mankind, break out of our circle of understanding? Where do we accept that we do not know? This is why they say, pride is the worst sin, along with vanity. Because as mankind, we have to swallow our pride and say we don't know and we can't understand. that there is something we can't prove. And there's no mystery why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the very beginning of the Quran, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. Alif Lam Mim, 3 letters. Oh Arabs, you think you know Arabic? Translate these 3 letters. Challenge number 1. Okay, you don't know, no problem. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. That the Quran is that book, there's no doubt in it, don't worry. هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It will be a guidance for those who fear Allah. Who is a person who fears Allah? الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. The ones who believe in the unseen. That first they have to swallow their pride and believe that there is a system that they cannot understand, that they won't understand. And they have to believe. We think we may be so smart with our degrees and our education and American, status and so forth and so on, Western civilization. But really, how much of that is working against us? When we start using science, something that is a system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and try to disprove Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do we allow people to trick us like this? Remember, science is an evolving phenomenon. Science changes with time. And remember, science, the best definition I can give for science is mankind's attempt to enumerate the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahi, I challenge any of you to challenge me on that definition. That science is nothing but mankind's attempt to enumerate and understand the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If any of you can think of a better definition, come. This is what we need to swallow. My student came with the second question. He said, I was watching Discovery Channel. History Channel is one of those. And he said there was some famous physicist or historian or something. And he was talking about Noah's Ark. And thus that's why the ayat I recited in the beginning. Saying, why does Noah's Ark not make sense? And this physicist, whatever he is, my student is telling me, he said, one of his arguments is that why isn't there a fossil record? Why don't we find remnants of an entire society wiped in all one go? Where did all the water go? Well, how was Noah able to build the boat? How was such a boat, according to science and mechanical knowledge of today, it doesn't make sense that such a boat can float? And these are the questions that this guy is trying to answer. So-called educated person. And he said, how do we answer those? I said, first and foremost, when we say Noah building an ark by himself, we have to understand, why was he building the ark? What is the story behind building the ark? If you want to analyze something we regard as a miracle without introducing that aspect, that divine aspect that we use to define a miracle, your argument is trash in the beginning. Remember, a miracle is something that transcends our understanding in logical bounds. That a miracle in itself is something we don't understand how it happened. So first, why isn't there a fossil record, so forth and so on? Where'd all the water go? Now, even if we wanted to answer that, it's very, very simple. Maybe the biblical records don't have it, but the Quran, it mentions it. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the flood was done, He said, Ya ardu bil'i ma'aki wa ya sama'u aqli'i. He ordered the water to recede. He ordered the sky to clear up. وَغِيضَ الْمَاءِ, and the water went away. وَقُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ, and the matter was done. God isn't some preschooler that you have to go chase after and clean up after. If God wants to destroy a nation, you think He can't clean up after Himself? You think that, oh man, it's not a murder now that you have to go hide the body. This is divine intervention. This is a divine act. This is a divine punishment. Not a serial killing. Not a public execution. Not a genocide. You think God can't wipe out a nation and leave no traces if He wanted to? You think God needs somewhere to put water? When Allah says, Ya ardu bula'i ma'aki, when you say, oh earth, swallow the water, where the water goes, who cares? It's gone. When you try to remove God from this equation, it doesn't make sense because it didn't happen without God. How did Noah build an ark? By himself. He was in the middle of a desert area. Because Jibreel alayhi salam sitting there, he's saying, yo, put that wood over there, put this over here, put the nail over here. He's following orders of an angel that's taught by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's building an ark designed by God, taught by God. When we look at these things, why do we remove God from the equation all of a sudden? When we look at these things, why is it that we are so quick to remove Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the picture, and then we let shaitan and these people put doubts in our heart? That, oh, why don't we see a big crack in the moon? If Rasulullah split the moon, why don't we see a crack down the middle? You think God who created the moon in the first place in one whole piece can't put it back together in one whole piece? Simple answers that we have to tell ourselves. Our nafs isn't that hard to talk to. Our inner being isn't so hard to talk to. But when we think we're so smart, when we think we're something, and we think we have a right to question the power of God, that's when we start getting confused. Why do we know these things happen? Because of wahi, because of divine revelation, not historical records. Where did Sodom and Gomorrah go? Where did Qawm Ad go? Where did Qawm Thamud go? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that nothing was left of them except their dwellings. You think you're going to find their body somewhere? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they're gone. Don't try looking for them. They are gone. But go, you can still see their houses carved up in the mountains. It's a tourist site now. Rasulullah, whenever he used to pass by Thamud, he used to take his shawl, he used to cover his face. And he used to tell the Sahaba, hurry up, quickly, quickly. Don't stop here, don't drink the water from here, just go. They used to ask, Ya Rasulullah, why? He said, this is a place where the adab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came. We should not tarry here. Now we go there, we're selfie, this and that. It's a tourist site. They're making money off of it. But then why do we turn a blind eye? Where's Ya'juj and Ma'juj? Dhul Qarnayn supposedly built a wall. Where's the wall? What's the nature of the wall? Where was the wall? How was the wall built? What was the barrier like? Was it even a physical barrier? In the end, they're there. Now we want to go grab a microscope and a magnifying glass and try searching. And then we use these things to avoid doing things in our daily life. We use these things to put doubts in our heart. Shaitan uses these things to put doubts in our heart, so we stop praying our salah. We don't pay our zakah. We don't go for hajj and so forth and so on. Because we think we're so smart. Because Bani Adam thinks they're so smart. It reminds me of that poem where one sha'ar, he says, يَتَقَابَى لَهُمْ وَلَيْسَ لِمُوقِهِ بَلْ لِلُّبٍ يَفُوقُ لُبَّ اللَّبِيبِ. That there's a guy, he's acting so dumb. But it's not because he's acting dumb out of being dumb. He's acting dumb because of his intellect, which is beyond anyone else's intellect. It's that guy that plays stupid, but in the end, he's screwing the other guy over. He's one step ahead of the other guy. We're not that guy. In the end, when we play smart, we're screwing ourselves over. When it comes to these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes sami'na wa ata'na. Listen and obey. And if you're having a little trouble, use your aql. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, not just use your senses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, use your senses. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ أَوَلَمْ يَسِيرُوا. Have you not traveled the earth and saw this? Do you not see this? Do you not see that? And then when you see all this, just use your aql a little bit and think. If A, B, and C, and D, and E, and F, and G all exist, and all of them make sense. Now just because I didn't see Ad, I didn't see Noah, I don't see the ark and so forth and so on, do I want to disbelieve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I don't see heaven, I don't see hell. My dear brothers, elders, and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made insan a very beautiful creation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us very, very great faculties, but let's not let those faculties get in the way of something that is beyond our own understanding, which is wahi, my dear brothers, elders, and sisters in Islam. Let's not use our limited, remember, limited abilities as well. Any of our 5 senses, there's animals that have it better than us, right? Okay, so our limited 5 senses, and that intellect that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us to play a game against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the most intellectual people on earth. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to use our intellect to increase our iman and call more people towards Islam. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulil Kareem. وعلى سائر الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى الملائكة المقربين وعلى عباده الصالحين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه الأجمعين اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر المسلمين والمجاهدين في سبيلك في كل مكان اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار عباد الله رحمني رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وأقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله